Good day, fellow listeners, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sam Zima, your host, presenting Cometa Holistic Mentorship Development Show. Today we are going to be talking about mentorship programs, specifically focusing on the design, development, and implementation thereof. Relax, let's check in with a lovely song titled Crystalline by Dovetail from Epidemic Sound. I will be back with you in few minutes. I'm back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us proceed. The term mentoring has some interesting historical background. It has its origins or its roots in the Greek mythology. In Homer's Odyssey, the hero Odysseus entrusts his friend Mentor to look after his son Telemachus while he is away at the war, and wanted Telemachus to prepare his son to become a king. And since then, the word mentor came to mean a teacher, an educator, and a role model. And today we just refer to all these as a mentor, or as mentorship, so to say. Cometa runs a full one-day workshop on the design, development, and implementation of mentorship development program. Should you be interested in such a facilitation, contact us at telephone number +2711 974 9308, or call us at our mobile number +2772 376 7503, or send us an email at callcenter@cometa-goc.com. We will certainly be keen to sit with you and put together a full one-day workshop for your human capital practitioners to start the process of designing and implementing your own company's specific mentorship development program. I quote from Steven Spielberg, the director, producer, and screenwriter, the most commercially successful filmmaker in Hollywood history. I quote, "The delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves." Quotation closed. Let us perhaps start very slowly and look at some few definitions. And the two interesting ones I would like to focus on are, number one, the word mentoring, and of course, specifically, the executive mentoring. As I've given you the background to where the word comes from, it is very interesting that we can also expatiate and be generic about it as to what a mentor is. A mentor is a trusted person who offers his or her own knowledge to support, guide, and encourage another, mostly commonly known as the mentee. Whereas the executive mentoring aims to promote business executives' development and learning, and more specifically to help executives to improve on their leadership skills, management skills, and the leadership skills. So mentorship is an enabling intervention, but it's quite very different to coaching in the sense that mentoring, it's more of hand-holding somebody, in this case the mentee, and making sure that they work towards achieving certain set objectives, which are the objectives of their development program. Often people use mentorship, coaching, and even training interchangeably. I want us to just focus on these three concepts and make sure that we have clarity as to what they stand for. Let's start with training. Training can be an internal or an external intervention, and the trainer assumes the role of almost a teacher. So therefore, in training, the trainer imparts special and needs-based competency and knowledge components. And this could take place in a form of a group lecture, and of course guided by a specific learning content. Coaching is in many cases external, and a coach assumes the role of a facilitator and shy away from telling the client what to do. The coach will develop general individual competency and problem-solving skills in the form of facilitation, and it normally carried out on a one-on-one basis, face-to-face, or virtually using technology like Skype, Google Hangouts, Zoom, you name it. So the methodological knowledge supports the development process rather than the functional or technical knowledge, and is in many cases used for either personal or professional development. Our topic of today, it's mainly offered internally, even though you could have, and in many cases you will have, both internal and external mentor. And in mentorship, a mentor functions as a role model, somebody that the mentee or the client looks up to. And the mentor offers specific and tangible assistance in a practical situations. So it is carried out also on a one-on-one basis, primarily focusing on professional development and mediation through practical knowledge sharing. So a mentor imparts business-related competency and problem-solving skills, and of course assists the client or mentee in building up their network for a need-based situation. So it's very important to start with this distinction between the three: training, mentoring, and coaching, so that we are very clear when we engage with our team members or our staff and employees. If we say we are going to use mentoring or we are going to use coaching and training, they ought to be clear in terms of what are the different approaches that are used when any of the three are being applied. In this case, let us focus on mentoring and proceed with our discussion. Like coaching, mentoring is also structured. There are methods and tools that one must take cognizance of in putting together a mentorship program. Firstly, the competency profiles. Programs measurement in the mentoring process, assignment of mentor and mentee, is dependent on the competency profiles of the client. In this case, could be the staff or the people that are put under mentorship programs. We need to know where they are at the particular point in time. In other ways, we need to have a baseline skills description or skills audit report or results, so that we know what level of competency they are having. Secondly, you need mentor guidelines, guidance for the mentor throughout the entire mentoring process. So when you are putting together a company mentorship program, it's very important that it is not left up to the mentor and mentee to decide what to do and what not to do. The company must have mentorship guidelines in place. That is second point after the competency profiles of the group of people that needs to be mentored. Once you have got the competencies defined and then you have got the mentorship guidelines, you now need a mentorship agreement framework, which is the basis on which the relationship between the mentor and mentorship is going to be built. And one of the key components of that mentorship agreement is confidentiality and commitment guarantees by both the mentor and mentee. Without a mentorship agreement, you run the risk of things going out of control and the mentee is becoming very vulnerable, and the relationship between the client, in this case the employee, and the company becoming exposed to risks. Once we have the contract, we then need the rules of the game. There need to be some agreements on personal interactions that are expected from the mentee by the mentor. The do's and don'ts, the behavioral norms and assessment standards that needs to be adhered to. And lastly, it's very important for the mentor and mentee and even the sponsor of the mentorship program to have some checklists that are going to be used to determine when we have achieved our objectives, but also to be used throughout the process to make sure that we have safe environment for the mentee and there's a continuous processing of the program and operational support by other key players in the organizations. In this case, specifically the line manager, the human resources colleagues, and any other manager or leader that is designated to be the project sponsor. So 5 important tools and methods for mentoring to be successful. Let me repeat. You need competency profiles, number 1. Number 2, you need mentor guidelines. Number 3, you need mentorship agreement. And number 4, you need rules of the game. And lastly, of course, there must be checklists to make sure that we adhere to the spirit of the company mentorship program. So in designing the mentorship and in developing the mentorship and, of course, implementing it, these 5 broad methods and tools must be in place. Otherwise, the foundation of your mentorship development program is very shaky. Expanding on the first 5, there are the next 5 other considerations that we need to put in place, especially when we get to the point of implementation. There must be the support strategy development through questioning. The mentor is not there just to only show the client or mentee how to do things, but the mentor must think thoroughly and broadly around what are the questioning techniques that he is going to be using when he is conducting his mentoring to get the best out of the mentee. The next one is the mental techniques. Personal conduct relating to stress management, the ability to focus on the objectives, and the ability to deal with conflict resolution. The mentor must be very, very prepared mentally and be clear around the techniques that he's going to use to deal with complexities that are presented by the mentoring relationship. The next point to look at is the organization of priorities. The mentor and mentee must get together and develop a list of priorities that needs to be focused on, processing urgent strategic issues and ensuring that they are being handled. If we don't prioritize, we may find ourselves going all over. And indeed, we will go all over because the corporate environment is very complex and we need to be very selective as to what our mentorship is going to be covering. And that what we put forward must be of importance to the mentee and the business. The next point that is very critical, or the method and the tool that is very critical, is the documenting of successes. And this is the responsibility that can be given to the mentee under the supervision or support of the mentor. So we need to document the progress that has been made and the events that are being attended to and motivate through successes already achieved. We need to know why we regard certain steps or certain milestones as being successful. It's very important also that we look at the methods for self-management. The mentee must be invested in his or her mentorship program. And the self-management must focus on goals and priorities, create a balance between professional and personal interests, including stress management. The mentee needs to be able to do that. So we have got quite a lot at the time to have discussed around what are the methods and tools for mentoring. This is really the foundation of any mentorship development program. And let me summarize by having all the 10 points under one summation. We need to have competency profiles of the mentee. We need to have a mentorship guidelines, specifically guiding the mentor how to execute a mentorship program. Number 3, we need to have a mentorship agreement in place, ensuring confidentiality and commitment to the mentorship program. Number 4, we need to have the rules of the game. agreeing on personal interactions that are going to be brought into the mentorship program. Number 5, we need to have a checklist to ensure safe environment for the mentee and continuous processing and operational support by other key players in the organization. Number 6, the mentor must be very concerned about the kind of questioning techniques that will be used to challenge the mentee. Number 7, the mentor must invest a lot on the mental techniques to ensure that personal conduct like stress management, focus on objectives, conflict resolutions are assured. And there must be a way to strengthen the mental capacity of mentee to deal with those. Number 8, we need to set priorities very clearly from the beginning. And those need to be developed jointly by the mentor and mentee. And the priorities must be processed urgently. There must be a sense of agency. And we must focus on strategic issues and ensure that those are being handled as the priority. Number 9, we need to document the progress that is being made, especially make sure that all the successes are captured and we are able to motivate why we think achievement of certain milestones can be referred to or regarded as being success. Lastly, methods for self-management. At the end of the day, the mentee has a huge responsibility to manage himself or herself. So the mentee must be able to create a balance between professional and personal interests, including things like stress management, conflict resolution. In other words, we are referring here to emotional intelligence. And we will come back to this at some future stage. But emotional intelligence is very critical, and that should cover self-awareness, awareness of the others, normally referred to other people's awareness, and awareness of the environment and relationship management, including, of course, self-management. So the broad 4 categories that are key to self-management are defined within the emotional intelligence topic, and they are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness or awareness of others, and relationship management. Those are critical subjects that the mentor must make sure that they are addressed in the mentorship program that is or she is facilitating or implementing on behalf of the company. So, having said that, what is the role of the mentor? The mentor is an all-rounder, and we can literally define or list number of roles that the mentor must be ready to play, with the mentee being at the center of these roles and being the focus of the mentorship program. Number 1, support, followed by number 2, advice. Number 3, challenge the mentee. Number 4, motivate the mentee. Number 5, play a role of being a trainer to the mentee. Number 6, you may find yourself as a mentor having to counsel the mentee or refer the mentee to professional counselors if there are some personal issues and there are some stress situations or the mentee is overwhelmed. Number 7, give feedback to the mentee at all times. And lastly, number 8, give guidance to the mentee. So those are the broad roles that the mentor must be equipped and be qualified to provide or to play in the mentorship program. So Expatiating on that, the mentor is there as a tutor to the mentee on specific topics. He or she is there playing the role of motivating the mentee to get out of their comfort zone, to try and make an effort and do things in a different way to ensure growth. The mentor must give the mentee useful feedback as stated. He must create an environment conducive to risk-taking. He must ensure that the mentee has the possibility to grow and develop. And the mentor must make sure that mentee focuses on the objectives of the mentorship program, not their own agenda. And the mentor must support the mentee when these limits are exceeded. What is the business case for a mentorship program for the company to start with? The company explore the various options regarding the development and career of the mentee using the mentorship program. Secondly, the mentorship program support the managers internally by utilizing the mentor's know-how and experience. The company provide individualized support to improve the learning transfer and ensure that the development of a mentee's potential through appropriate measures takes place. So mentorship is really, it's a support of existing processes of the company that are related to human capital development. For the mentor, the benefit of a mentorship program is basically to improve one's consulting expertise. It also teaches one to take responsibility and commit to social issues such as supporting and promoting young executives in an organization. And lastly, what are the benefits for the mentee? Why should mentees take mentorship program serious? The mentorship program is always there to give the individual mentees encouragement to overcome their fear and take steps to try new things. And by so doing, they will then grow. It is there to provide them with help and support regarding career questions. They may have some issues around their future, around the career development. A mentor is there as a confidant to engage and really try to get some guidance in terms of how to deal with questions related to career. The mentorship program benefit the mentee because the mentor brings their experience and knowledge and they share this knowledge with the mentees. The mentorship program is also there to develop awareness of the mentees' abilities, strengths and weaknesses, as well as possible opportunities and risks that they may be confronted with in their own development. So just to summarize this topic on the rationale or the benefits of mentorship, what the mentorship program should do is to come up with some clear-cut reasoning why the three groupings or the three role players in a mentorship program should see benefit for participating in a mentorship program. The company being one role player or the beneficiary, the mentor being the huge contributor, and mentee. All the three must see the need and the benefit of embarking on a mentorship development program. So the package mentorship development program of a company must be clear around that. For if it is not very clear, people may not see it necessary for them to take it serious. I want to complete this episode by touching on the holistic mentorship solutions and packages that we have put together at Cometa that we are offering to our broad stakeholders, including companies. And those are basically the broad offerings or the portfolio of our offering in terms of mentorship design, development, and implementation and application across the board. Our portfolio follows the human capital development stages from the early childhood education to the professional retirement continuous development intervention. So basically we have packaged in a way that we are able to follow the development stages of a person to a point when a person is no longer in a professional space but is a retired professional who is still playing a role in the community but is also being offered mentorship in terms of how to reposition themselves. So we will offer a mentorship program for early childhood practitioners, primary and high school practitioners, leaders, and teachers, and then take it into the college and the university, whereby we assist the graduates from high school into university through a transitional mentorship, help them choose the type of subjects or degrees and diplomas they can study in view of the markets and the sectors they want to join, including the work-integrated learning type of mentorship so that they can decide which industries to engage with, the youth entrepreneurship development and the youth leadership development mentorship to encourage young people to take the topic of leadership serious long before they are confronted with the responsibilities of being leaders in the society. We then also embark in studies, readiness, and career choice mentorship, and continue to career management and corporate life mentorship to assist people to settle down in the complex environments that people find themselves when they start their careers in the industries. We also have packages that are targeting a technical, administrative, and specialization mentorship to assist people who have opted perhaps to take the technical ladder or administrative ladder rather than becoming managers and leaders, and help them create the careers around the technical functional expertise, but not ignoring the impact that is made by other people who might have taken another stream of management and leadership and having to be their bosses and colleagues. As stated, it's very important also to focus on post-career mentoring. Many people, when they leave the corporate world, they find themselves having not prepared for post-retirement life. They might have done very well in investing in retirement packages, but they might not have really thought thoroughly about what are they going to do with so much time available to them after having been used to being very busy. We do also have packages for celebrity life mentorship, professional entrepreneurship mentorship, and of course, lastly, we do get involved in the community development space where we give mentorship for community and citizenship development mentorship programs. So it's quite a very interesting space we find ourselves in. We love it, we enjoy in this space, but at the end of the day, we use the same concept, the same methodology, the same tools, the same philosophy that we will use across when you are embarking on a mentorship development program. Whether it's an internal in the company or external, the concepts are the same. Like coaching, mentorship is a very key component of human capital development, and therefore it must be structured and be done responsibly. We are going to expand on this topic in the subsequent episodes, and I would like us in the next episode, episode number 2, under the Competency Holistic Mentorship Development Program, to be on improving various skills through executive mentorship. And that will be very soon, and I look forward to meet you then and take the topic into higher level of engagement. At this point, I want to bring the session to closure. But before I do that, I want to remind you that you are welcome to call us at +2711 974 9308 and make an appointment to engage with us. You can also send us email at callcenter@comeza-goc.com or call us directly on our mobile +2772 376 7503. Let's check out with a beautiful song and say good.